Hey, Southern Nevada. Whenever I'm in a bar or restaurant, I always order tap water and usually get the joke, "You mean Lake Mead's finest?" Well, did you know it's actually sourced from the Rocky Mountains? And despite its hard, mineral-rich taste, your water meets safety standards and keeps you healthy, so don't twist up hard water with its quality. It's tested 300,000 times, ensuring your tap water meets or surpasses the highest quality standards. You got a lot on your plate. SNWA is taking care of what's in your glass. So learn simple ways to enhance the taste at snwa.com. SNWA is a not-for-profit water agency. Ever find yourself in Margaritaville again? Well, odds are you're actually in Las Vegas, arguably the margarita capital of the United States, especially when it comes to the variety of marg options and quantity served, even in one drink. Today on CityCast Las Vegas, we talk with food historian Sarah Lohman and our newsletter editor Rob Kachelriess as we dive into some Las Vegas margarita history, as well as giving you a roundup of some of the best margs in town. It's Thursday, September 11th. I'm Dayvid Figler, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Hey, Sarah and Rob, I know you both love to drink when you like to drink.
Hola.
Yeah, much like a martini, a margarita can be ordered many different ways. So, Sarah, what's the perfect marg?
Okay, for me, of course.
Yes.
I'm not here to tell you what to do with your margaritas. I usually prefer a frozen marg as opposed
Really?
to on the rocks. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Usually. There are exceptions, but that's usually what I go for.
Straight from a machine or a blender?
Either, but I did just learn today that the machines often use sour mix as opposed to real lime juice. And sour mix can be a little hard on my tummy. It's often because it's just citric acid and sugar as opposed to the subtleties of lime juice. So it's just a little aggressive for me, and I end up in physical pain from it. But as long as it's a mid-range on up establishment, usually it's a pretty good situation. I like it smooth. I like it cold, salt rim, and maybe a tahini rim if I'm feeling a little spicy.
How about you, Rob?
For me, I think a margarita really comes down to the quality of the tequila. I want something good that's used. I don't want some BS tequila. And the problem is so many of these tequilas use additives. They use things to adjust the color of the tequila.
Sure.
They sometimes use sweeteners. They use things to adjust the taste. Sometimes they even have glycerin that they add to it to adjust the texture of it.
Huh.
So whenever a tequila kind of makes a big point to take pride in no additives, as all natural as possible, purity, just done the right way, that's what I look out for. And ideally, you kind of want, a lot of people tend to go with a Blanco to mix in with a cocktail, because a reposado is going to have that tequila flavor, that aged flavor, and maybe you don't want to mess with it too much. But I just try to stay away from bad quality tequilas. And ideally, I just want a little squirt of lime. I don't want that sticky sweet and sour mix in there. Just a little bit of lime, maybe a little bit of agave, and a touch of triple sec or Grand Marnier, and I'm good.
I'll take a simple syrup for sure. I'm not an agave purist because simple syrup is more, in some ways, historically accurate.
And I will say, wherever you go, whether it's a restaurant, Mexican or otherwise, margaritas seem more common on the menu. And frankly, if you're walking down the strip, you are going to see a margarita even before you see a bride walking down the street. So what makes the margarita such an iconically Vegas drink?
I think that there are some really interesting connections to Las Vegas. I mean, I think above all else, Vegas is a party city and a margarita is a party drink. That's, not how it started, but it's how it evolved. Because, of course, when you're talking about those margaritas on the strip, we're talking about what are now known as yard drinks. And yard drinks are not because you drink them in the yard. It's because they're a yard long. Or they were historically.
At least a yard long. I've seen some that are taller than me. It's kind of sticky.
It's funny because there are limits on how much alcohol you can serve at once. So most of the yard drinks aren't actually a yard long. They're actually based on literal yard drinks that are from England that are yard-long beer glasses and are an actual yard. And actually, the guy who was the manager of the second Señor Frogs, which was in Cancun, saw those in the UK and was like, I'm onto something. And this was in 1990. And they were trying to make Cancun like a college party destination because
that's the way to do it.
Yeah. It was shortly after, and I didn't realize this, America raised its drinking age from 18 to 21. So it was state by state, and then it went federal. Mexico was still 18. So he was like, we need to move some alcohol. So instead of selling like one margarita at a time in their slightly less than a yard of drink, they were selling 2.5 drinks at a time. And those probably came to Vegas when Señor Frogs came here and opened up in Treasure Island, which was like in the 90s.
Yeah.
So there's that weird connection. And there's another one, actually. I mean, there's two more, but the third one's really special. So Margarita opened here in... hang on, the early 2000s.
The Jimmy Buffett place.
Margaritaville.
The Jimmy Buffett place. Margaritaville, 2011, so surprisingly late. And to celebrate its opening, their mixologists, as they called them in this article, concocted the world's largest margarita. And let me give you some numbers.
So they emptied the pool at the link.
No, it was a giant margarita glass that was there until Margaritaville closed, which I didn't realize.
I think I remember seeing this. It was kind of in the center as you walked in.
And you could take your photo with it, but it was originally filled with over 2,000 gallons of tequila, 700 gallons of Margaritaville triple sec, and over 5.5 gallons of Margaritaville margarita mix. They held the Guinness Book of World Records largest margarita, which they served. People drank it. Actually, up until 2025, when we were beaten by the city of Tijuana. So we're a party city. It's a party drink. You see them in New Orleans, too. I mean, you see them around, but not in like Margaritaville or yard drink form. That feels pretty Vegas.
Hey, Sarah, are there any other interesting historical connections between Las Vegas and the margarita?
Well, do you want to just hear a little bit of the origin story of where the margarita came from?
I do.
Well, yeah, I'm going to defer to Rob.
David.
No,
I'm trying to yes and.
Hey, if Sarah Lohman's talking about food and beverage history, I'm in. So go for it.
Okay, so the deal is it evolved from an older cocktail called the Daisy, and the Daisy starts appearing in like cocktail handbooks in like the 1870s, okay? And you could have a gin Daisy, a whiskey Daisy, etc. And I think the key here to know is that the word margarita is Daisy in Spanish. So that drink was around by the 1870s, and then cocktail historian David Wondrich, the earliest reference he has dug up to a tequila Daisy is from the Turf Bar in Tijuana, and that's from 1925. Now, I will say that there are a number of bars that claim its origin point, and really it's probably something that was like a group think, like it happened at a couple places at once. One of the bars that claims to have invented it is called Hussong's. That's Hussong.
Sounds familiar.
Yes. So here's the wild part. That was founded by Johann Hussong in Tijuana in 1892. It's the oldest continually operating bar in Tijuana. And in the late 90s, a pair of like Vegas restaurateur entrepreneurs went to Hussong's, had their original margarita, and was like, we should bring this to Vegas. So they opened at Mandalay Bay in the 90s. And now within the past like couple years, they've also opened locations at Boca and on St. Rose Parkway. So I figured I have to go try the original margarita. Literally, these are the only 3 locations outside of Tijuana, and they're here in Vegas. So I went for lunch today. Do you want to hear about it?
I do.
Duh.
So I walk in, it's quiet. I went at like 11. I ordered the margarita. If you order it at lunch and get the lunch special, which is like 2 dishes, like burrito and enchilada, there's a whole list of things plus beans and rice. When you order it with that, it is $5. And it isn't like rocks glass. It is pint glass size.
Take notes, station casinos.
This is what I'm saying, because I also went to Stations Casinos last night, and we can get to that. $5. Real. Delicious. On the rocks, so refreshing. I was like, I need a picture of this and my buddies David and Rob, and I would sit here all afternoon. Now, they don't have the same lunchtime deals at the one at Mandalay Bay, but the regular margaritas are like $12 and they're only $13 at Mandalay Bay. So there isn't like a crazy difference.
That's good for the Strip, though.
Yes, it's excellent for the Strip. I thought the margarita was bomb. It's like now, I think my fave margarita in the city. It was just perfect. And so weirdly, there's this historical connection right here in our backyard in Vegas.
The hottest night of the year is back. AFAN's 39th annual Black and White Party taking over Chaos Nightclub inside the Palms Casino Resort on Saturday, September 20th. This year's Wild West-themed celebration is hosted by Frederick Godinez and Alexander Stabler of the design studio Frederick Alexander, and it's your chance to experience an unforgettable night of fashion, entertainment, and community. The entertainment for the evening is stacked. Simone and Mirage from RuPaul's Drag Race, Fantasy, David Hernandez and Kyle Koo from American Idol, the cast of Piranha and Gypsy Nightclubs, the Chippendales, and more. Proceeds support Aid for AIDS of Nevada's critical programs, providing housing, transportation, food, and medical case management for those living with or affected by HIV/AIDS. Visit afanlv.org to learn more and purchase your tickets today. That's afanlv.org.
Hey y'all, it's executive producer Sonia Cho Swanson here. And you know, I was never really much of a smoothie or a meals on the go kind of person. And then I became a mom. So now between daycare drop-offs, swim classes, doctor's appointments, and oh yeah, working full-time, Huel Black Edition is exactly the kind of boost my morning needs. I got the Black Edition Vanilla, so yummy, and it's a complete meal with 40 grams of plant-based protein and 27 vitamins and nutrients that keep me full and ready to tackle my day. There's no added sugar, it's gluten-free, and super easy to shake up and take on the go. And hey, they just dropped something totally new. Huel Daily Greens Ready to Drink, a sparkling canned beverage that comes in flavors like blueberry, apple, and peach, with 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods, and just 25 calories. So try Huel with 15% off for new customers today using our code LASVEGAS at Huel.com/Las Vegas. Fuel your best performance with Huel today.
Rob, what's your best cheap marg in the city?
So actually, I went and did happy hour at Mijo, which is the Mexican restaurant at Durango, the casino.
Okay.
And they have a great happy hour. So their margaritas are $10, and they have these bites that are $10, like a quesadilla, a few other things, but good portions. You know, solid, sit at the bar, get something to eat, and it'll fill you up portions. And what I love about Mijo, and I think this is kind of across the board at Durango in general, their house tequila is Código 1530. And you know how I was talking about good quality tequilas earlier with no additives? This is one of them.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Código. So that's like their house tequila that they just use in their margaritas. And it's a very basic recipe, you know, like a little triple sec, lime, agave. I think they might even throw bitters into some of their variations.
Ooh.
But I did something I wouldn't normally do. I got a prickly pear margarita. And usually I steer clear of like the fruity margaritas. But this was just like, I was watching the bartender make it. I saw him grab the container, and I don't know if it was a syrup or just a little bit of juice, but it was just a touch. It was a light pink margarita, and you just tasted just a little hint of the prickly pear. It wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't sticky sweet. The whole thing was balanced. And then I tried a regular margarita after that, and that was just as good. So they really have the balance right in putting together simple, excellent margarita recipes with a good quality tequila and a good price if you go during happy hour, $10.
Yeah, I do like sometimes the flavored margaritas really get me, and prickly pear is a perfect pear for that. And
from our
it
desert.
It is our desert too, and I love that aspect of it.
I did go get the $1.99 margarita at the Stations Casino. Do you want to hear?
Oh, so that
Tell
you
the
can't
tale?
get cheaper than that. I would imagine $1.99 is as low as it's going to go. So yeah, how was it?
It was $2.16 after taxes, so that is a disappointment.
Quibble.
It came out of a margarita machine, and I will say it was so cold it gave me brain freeze. I kind of didn't mind it. It was very lovely blended, like very soft texture. But like I said, it was definitely like a very strong on the sour mix. So like I could only get about halfway through before I was like, ooh, my tummy. I would say you have to spend the extra $2 to get another shot in there. It's still a $5 margarita. And I do think the $1.99 one has like looked at a bottle of tequila. I think maybe they like kissed, like there's something in there. But I think to make it a real drink, you got to get that extra shot. Listen, it's not, if I had $5 and had to pick a margarita, I would pick Husong's, definitely over any of the station's casinos.
Well, what about some other, I don't know, mid-range priced chain margs, you know?
Well, honestly, I like Juan's Flaming Fajita, local chain. I have to admit I like it in part because I can walk there. And while I don't want to promote irresponsible drinking,
Good.
I have to admit...
I'll promote it.
No.
I'm just not much of a binge drinker, except when margaritas are involved. Like I feel like you just have to put a system in place where I know I'm going to get absolutely lit on margaritas. You just drink them and you talk, and like whoever you're with is your best friend. So I can walk to Juan's. I actually think their food is really tasty. It's like really good sort of Tex-Mex adjacent. And they do have frozen flavors. You can get yourself a strawberry marg, a mango marg, which I really like. And they've got like classier versions too, but they've got a big margarita menu. They are big margaritas, and they're really pretty reasonably priced too. I highly recommend.
And they pair well with those fajitas, don't they?
Oh my God, I love it so much there. I really do.
I just love the salt. I love the salt so much.
Gotta have the salt or the tahini.
Yeah. All right. So, Rob, what's maybe something a little offbeat when it comes to margaritas in town?
You know what I really love is if you go to China Poblano at the Cosmopolitan, Jose Andres restaurant, which combines Asian and Mexican food on the same menu. It's not fusion. It's just like side-by-side food. It's weird, but it works. But I love their margarita for one reason. They have like what they call like salt air. So instead of like a salt rim, you get like a salt cloud like on top of your margarita. So they use like Milagro Silver tequila. They use a little bit of orange liqueur, lime juice, some simple syrup, but none of that overly tart sweet and sour mix. And then that just like salt air, which is like a little bit of lime juice, salt, I think some form of sugars in there, and they just kind of whisk it with some water. So you have a little cloud. You don't have to, put your mouth on the rim of the glass to get that salt. It just kind of comes in with every sip, and
it's like drinking a margarita at the beach.
Yeah, and it's just like very light. And also Viva, Ray Garcia's restaurant at Resorts World, does something very similar too. They have kind of the salt air foam on top. I don't know which one of these chefs came up with it first. I'm a fan of both of them. I'm going to guess Jose Andres did because that restaurant's been there a long time.
Yeah.
But both
Although
of those...
Jose is mostly associated with the gin and tonic variations, right?
That's true. And I will say this. I know both places are on the Strip, but both offer their margaritas with the salt foam during happy hours. So go on their websites to look up the days and the times for the happy hours. But you'll get a reasonably priced margarita with that salt cloud if you go at the right time.
I love a salt cloud.
At least for Strip prices. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never had one, but I'm willing to try.
There's a little sushi walk-up bar at the Venetian. And right before we went to the Weird Al show, I got one of those margaritas with the salt foam on it. And it really is a delightful way to do that.
More people should do it.
Yeah, I like it. All right. What about some high-end marks from you, Sarah Lohman?
Well, okay, I don't know if this is like tippity top end, but I did get a sort of take on a margarita last night that I really loved. So I went to Jive Turkey for the first time. David, I know you're a huge fan.
It's Dayvid Figler's second home.
I like
After
Jive
Vesta
Turkey.
Coffee.
Yeah. His
He's
third
one
home.
or the other.
I'm just a downtowner.
David has three families.
Yes. So it's such a cute, like, mid-century shopping space, too.
It used to be a music lesson place, and you used to buy your drums and stuff there. Mahoney's Music back in the day.
In
So
Huntridge
cute.
area.
It's got, like, such a beautiful little courtyard in the middle of it that's unexpected as well. Anyway, the happy hour is also great, too. It's like $5 Miller Lights, $5 Old Fashions, $5 $6 dogs, something like that. Anyway,
Sold.
It's great. So good, so good. So they do have a spicy margarita on the menu too. I forgot to ask what exactly that entails because I was enchanted with the cocktail I ordered, which was called the Infante. And the Infante has tequila, lime juice. Instead of simple syrup or agave, it has orgeat. So it's got almond simple syrup, right? Then it has a little rose water. Actually, this cocktail was created by the bartender at the Indian restaurant in Town Square that you love, Rob. What is that place called?
Yes, Tamba.
Tamba.
And that sounds totally in line with the kind of stuff they do there.
I was like, I need to go to Tamba because this cocktail is amazing. So tequila, lime juice, orgeat, rose water, and then a little bit of nutmeg on top and one big clear chunky ice cube. Really light, really delicious. Rose water is not overpowering. When it's used well, you can't even put your finger on what it might be, you know?
Right.
I really, really enjoyed it. And I love a marg variation.
Almost sounds a touch savory.
The orgeat made it sweet. No, I think to me it hit just like a margarita and was a little less on the sour side. It was just a little bit light. That's how I would think of it.
Well, I know there's also like interesting margarita variations out there. Any that you guys have had? And, you could be ridiculous. Anything goes here. I will not judge what is or isn't a margarita.
Ridiculous, you say, Dayvid Figler.
Yes, I did.
Well, okay, I'm on an episode with Sarah Lohman. I know we can't let too much time go by without me bringing up a speakeasy.
Oh
boy, here we go.
And I don't know if this place really markets itself or calls itself a speakeasy, but it's a hidden bar. It's called The Vault inside the Bellagio.
Okay.
And they're kind of known for really interesting things. One of the things they do is like vintage spirits. Like they'll go back into people's personal collections and buy things and use them in cocktails. I don't know what they're offering right now, but I know since they've opened, they've had things like a sidecar using like Remy Martin from the 1930s. And they had some version of a daiquiri with Bacardi from the 60s, back when it was like distilled in the Bahamas before it was distilled in Puerto Rico. So just different spirits that may not be better or worse, but just come from a different period of time. And
But
they
the
use
price
that.
on those, Rob, that's got to be hundreds of dollars. There might be a $1,000 margarita in there.
I know that sidecar that I mentioned was $145 back when the vault opened. So this is definitely over the top. But I'm going to give you a margarita that's a little bit less expensive. It's more of a deal. It's $50.
Okay.
Tell me about the $50 margarita at the vault, Mr. Kachelriess.
This is something they just introduced. It's called the Heritage 100 Margarita. And what they do is they have this exclusive tequila blend, which they're calling the Centennial Blend. They're calling it an añejo, but I'm going to kind of call it an añejo plus. Okay. So this is by Fuente Seca, or the people behind Fuente Seca, who are known for like the art of aging, like different casks, different years. And with this particular blend, they add up, I think it's like 10 different blends. So one is like blended for 21 years. One is blended for like 15. One is 6. One is 4. One is 3. But if you add them all up, it adds up to 100. And that's why it's called the Heritage 100. When I asked about this, they told me that was coincidence. That was not a marketing thing that they planned in advance.
But now it is because Rob saw it.
Exactly. I will trust them on this.
You have a mind for these things.
Did you try it? Did you get to try it?
I have not tried it. I have been to the vault and I have tried some ridiculous drinks there, but I do want to try this. But what they do is they take that tequila. I think there's a little OJ, a little agave, a little worm salt. Sounds delicious,
blended,
right?
Is it blended from actual worms that have been soaking in tequila or just random worms?
I believe it's worms from tequila that are toasted, but they use the worm salt on the rim. And get this, and they put it into like one of those little like clay mugs loaded with ice. There's a little sombrero hat on it, so it's cute. You get a lot for your $50, and they spray it with mezcal essence.
Oh.
So you get a little smokiness without too much extra alcohol kind of interfering with the flavors. You might think you're like kind of burying this fantastic expensive tequila with all this stuff, but from what I understand, it actually kind of is designed to work well, complement each other, a little bit of grassiness, a little bit of those wood tones with a little bit of the nuances from the younger blends, and it all seems to work. So the next time I get my paycheck from CityCast, I'm going to go spend part of it on a $50 margarita at the Bellagio, at the vault, which is hidden behind the cage, I believe. It's in the middle of the casino floor.
I would worry about getting like a little worm salt in my teeth,
You just pick that right out.
Yeah. What's a little worm salt between friends?
Yeah.
So I've got a couple places down in the Arts District that I want to give a shout out to when it comes to margaritas. First off is the brand new, everybody loves it, Dustland.
Yes.
You gotta go.
My gosh. Yeah.
It's very good.
We got to get down there.
So, David.
I'll take you down to Dustland because it's immediately comfy, just enough kitsch, definitely feels homey, and they got the big windows so all the light could come in. And they actually have what they call the El Camino $16 margarita. And they will hand you, if you ask, a little kind of like, shiny laminated paper with a dry erase marker, and you kind of make your own margarita. And you have so many different options. So they do classic or Tommy style, and put a little pin in Tommy style for a second. And then you get whatever you want on the rim. You could have no salt. You could have salt. You could have your favorite tahini or something called stupid salt. And stupid salt's kind of a blended salt that has a bunch of different kind of like herbs and flavors in it and stuff like that. So it's a nice little variety. So that's $16. Or you could just say, give me a margarita. I did try one over there in anticipation for this episode.
Research.
And they gave me a Lalo Blanco tequila. It was delicious, very clean. And I looked up this brand because I never heard of Lalo before. And they're like, we're very proud that we only have 3 ingredients. Deep well water drawn from the heart of the Jalisco mineral-rich Mexican soil, champagne yeast selected for its harmonious balance profile, and a fully mature highland agave. So,
can I go in there and just ask for a margarita and make it stupid?
Yeah, I bet you can. Or, if you have enough, it'll make you stupid. The other one I want to shout out
halfway
is
there.
The other new favorite downtown, which is Nocturno. And this is right in line with what you were talking about, Sarah, where they just have the classic drinks available. So they have maids and daisies and all the other stuff. Yeah. And then they allow you to add the spirit that you want. And then they make recommendations. They also do a Tommy style margarita there. And Tommy style is a little simpler, if you will. So it goes with a Blanco tequila, fresh squeezed lime juice, a little agave nectar, and then a lime wedge for a garnish. And that's it. Ice, a little kosher salt on the rim if you want it, and boom, you got the Tommy style. And you could get a Tommy style margarita number 2 over at Nocturno as well. Again, over $10 for your drink, but that's, $10 to $20 is the average for the Arts District. Anyway, I love those spots.
But also a very social place, too. Like, you can sit there at the bar, talk to the bartender, and they'll really give you what you want.
Yeah, I mean, they really know their cocktails there. That's why they're very into the old school with all the new twists. So big fan of both those places for margaritas. Well, my drinking buddies, thanks again for joining us on CityCast Las Vegas with all we need to know about margaritas.
Cheers.
Thanks, David.
And that's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. If you enjoyed the show, hey, go tell a friend. You could also rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. Don't forget, you can support this show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast Las Vegas neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Stay lucky and drink responsibly.